How's it going, everyone? It's Dennis from Super Pirate Bros, and today I'd like to share with you my updated Trafalgar Law deck profile. It's something I should have done a few weeks ago. I've had it, but having to play so many different decks, it's hard to get this one out there and see how it performs. So anyways, without any more time wasting from me, Trafalgar Law got improved ever since he was released in ST10, and he's gonna continue to get support because I don't know, we love Law. Let's go. All right, let's look at the deck profile since that's what we're here for. Gorgon. This guy has the effect of minusing 3,000 to a guy by putting himself on bottom and for only one cost. So he's very good with the removal effect of your leader, because your leader, that's all what he wants to do is bottom deck your opponent's cards. So you're going to need a ratio like this. And the new one that came out in this set was Raise Max in OP06. His text bubble is exactly identical to that of Gordon. And they're the exact same card because they're both even film. So yeah, I decided to play two more when they came out. I think 6 is a good ratio. If anything, you might want to push it to 7 to see it a little more, but any more than that, you don't really need a whole double play set. I think that'll be overdoing it. You'll be stuck with so much reducing cards and nothing to actually play if you go any more than that. Anyways, next up, we've got Otama. She's a 2K, and also for additional power reduction to help your leader bottom deck whatever he wants. So great 2K for that. Up next, I'm playing one of Sanji. This is the OP01 Sanji that has the effect of adding a card from your top life to your hand, and then he gains 2,000 power and gives 2 Recedon. So that's going to be very difficult to do. Obviously, you're not going to be able to attack with him. Most likely, he'll be killed off before then. But the purpose for this card as a one of is that I sometimes run into NL players that are still trying to do the starving method because they know a Gadatsu can basically eliminate your entire board if they leave you at 4 life. So if that's what they're trying, this is the guy that's going to stop it. Sanji, by giving yourself your card to your hand, your life becomes 3, and they cannot be KOing your guys to cost 4. Also, Katakuri sometimes try to starve you out, so we'll also for that. So just one Sanji. Again, not the most important card. You can play something different if you like. We'll talk about that later. Also new from OP06, we've got Shuraiya. This is a blocker that's all 3/4, and he attacks, and on block, he'll gain the power of the opponent's leader. So if your opponent's leader is Big Edward, he actually becomes 6K, which is pretty wild. So that's why you want him at 4 for that possible matchup. And of course, it's other way, it's a blocker. So he'll be pushing at 5 for the majority of the game because there's not a leader with 4,000 attack anyway. Oh, and also the purple red Luffy leader is also 6K, so he gets boosted for that as well. And up next on my 3 drops, I've got Rover Noah Zoro, Simple Rusher, 3/5, very powerful, very efficient. Want to max him out because this deck doesn't want to have that much of a long game against your opponent because you're losing hand size for the majority of the game with your leader's effect. So you want to get the game done as fast as possible, so rushing Zoro is going to help you do that. So after 4 of hymns, I've got 4 of Trafalgar Law. This is the one from the Film Uta pack, promo pack from a while back. Oh, I hope you picked up these back in the day because this guy's getting expensive. I don't know. But anyways, he gives minus 2,000 power for the turn to one of an opponent's character on play. So pretty good at getting that earlier removal to the small guys. Or when you want to combine Trafalgar Law with Raise Max, you could basically... So that's 5,000 power reduction total. You can knock out somebody that's 8K with your leader's effect. Old bottom deck them. Next up, another 2K that's a must play as a 4 of. So he's a 2K in hand for if you draw him late game. But in the early game, you want to play him out as soon as possible because when you got 3 or less Dawn, you get 2 free rested Dawn right there immediately. So in the early games, when you're bottom decking something and you play him out, you get to recover your Dawn that much faster because your leader goes minus 3 Dawn just to do that, his effect. Up next, also the other great Heart Pirate man is Beppo, our Mink over here. So on play and when attacking, you get a Dawn. So of course you gotta play 4 of him. And the effect only works if you have less Dawn than your opponent, so be aware of that. If you're fading a mirror match, don't do them when you don't have fewer Dawn because it's not gonna work. So just be aware of that. But for any other matchup, you're gonna be at less Dawn than your opponent, so this is free Dawn. So we all gotta play the bear for that free real estate. And next up, we got Vinsmoke Reiju. This is the card that really put the deck on the map for this format, to be honest with you. This one, outside of the Germa decks, is still pretty good in here. If the number you're Dawn is less than your opponent's, which it most likely will be, You get to draw 2 cards while you have 5 or less cards in life. So this is a must play and also a must see. I found it very hard to win games if I don't see this, because this game has always struggled with hand advantage, and she's the one character that'll help you come back to life as far as hand size goes. So gotta play 4 of her as a must. And when you mulligan, I prioritize seeing her more than any other card in the deck. That's my opinion about her importance. Up next, I've got room for 2 Ain. Ain is just an old film card that adds a Dawn on play and you rest it. So also a 4-drop with a nice 4/5 stat line. I made room for 2 of her. You can play more of her if you like. We'll go over ratios at the end of the video. But yeah, she's simple to help you recover Dawn and still put a nice strong body on board. Up next, another couple 2Ks is a Khalifa. So besides being a 2K in hand to help protect your characters and leader, her effect is on attacking, so it's a little bit slow. So only ever play her out if you really feel that your opponent is not gonna destroy her with an effect, or if your opponent is not a black deck, because those decks are gonna just KO her anyway. Unless you're at an abundance of Dawn and you're able to play a couple characters, then you play her out, because then they have to have the option to choose to KO her or not. Up next, we've got 2 Trafalgar Law. Blocker, and the on play, if your opponent got 7 in hand, you get to trash 2 random cards, which can be very game winning at the end of the game when your opponent's saving for their powerful big drops. So this is good to have. It rarely comes up, but when it does, you're in a huge advantage state almost all the time. So I made room for 2 of him, because I feel like opponents always fear Law and they know not to have 7 cards in hand, so he's not the most useful. So that's why we have other blockers like Shiruya that's much better than him. Up next is a 4-drop is this guy, also from OP06, is Hitokiri Kamazo. So when a Dawn on your field is returned to the Dawn deck, you get to kill one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 2 or less. So this guy comes in really clutch when you're trying to do those big brain plays, when you have, like, let's say Raise Max and maybe Trafalgar Law played already, or Otama or something. You get to reduce the power of a guy bottom deck with Trafalgar Law, and then Kamazo will bottom deck another card at the same time. So that's why you have to really be careful with what you're doing. But if your opponent has multiple low drop characters, him with the leader together can pretty much get rid of 2 characters at once. So that's why I really like this guy. I'm thinking of playing him at 4. I probably should be. And if you're going to play him at 4, I already say take out 1 Khalifa. I just couldn't find my extra pair, so I didn't put it in the deck yet. But pretty much you can play 1 Khalifa and 4 of Hitokiris. That's probably a much better route to go with. Up next, the other MVP of the deck. When you reach 5 Dawn, you want to see this guy as early as possible. It's the Eustace Captain Kidd, the blocker that gives you a Dawn active when you return Dawn, which your leader does it all the time, so you're going to be getting Dawn back that much faster. So a very useful character. You definitely want to see him in your game, so when you mulligan, look for him and Reiju. That's the highest priorities of the deck, to be honest. So after that, I'll put that there. I'll organize it later. I decided to play 1 Monkey D. Luffy. This thing here has actually won me a game, because during the end of the game, people try to rely on rushers. They rely on blockers. And Monkey D. Luffy ignores that with his effect by just giving him 2 Dawns. So at the end of the game, when your opponent is leaving blockers up, they're like, okay, I'm good this turn. I'm not going to lose. Boom, drop down the random Luffy. They forgot it existed, and then they lose. It comes up every once in a while. So like I said, not the most important card. That's my tech card. I don't know how many other people are playing it, but there he is. Last card is going to be 1 Fire Fist, just to give minus 4,000 power to an opponent. And then if you got 2 or less life, you get to knock out an extra character with 0. I mostly played it for the Sakazuki matchup, because they play Rebecca's. Well, now Gecko Moria also play Rebecca's. I'm seeing that more often. So this is a way to get rid of Rebecca for free while reducing a different character that by 4,000. So it's really damn good. So I made room for just 1 of this. It could possibly be bumped up to 2, but that's up to you. I'm gonna neaten out this mess of a pile I made. Alright, so there it is, my full Trafalgar Law deck profile and site for you guys. Everything looking neat here. So besides ratios, like I said, Kamazo probably should be at 4. You want to take out 1 Khalifa. And the other ratios you might want to change is putting in more of Ain. You don't have to play Monkey D. Luffy if you don't want to. That's up to you. That's your preference. But this is a deck that we all know is really good. It's going to get crazy strong in the next set. So for those of us that have been playing as long as I have, since the deck came out when it was weaker, we're very excited for that. So yeah, look forward to that video when that new stuff comes out. And another option that I want to talk about that I recently took out, but you might want to consider is Gamma Knife. So we get minus 5,000 power to a guy, and for just Dawn -1. So it's a little stronger than Fire Fist, and it also costs you Dawn. And also, when you have Eustace Captain Kidd on board, you're going -1 for this, but then you're going +1 because you used it. So really, it's giving you a Dawn instead as active. So it's almost like it costs 1. So it's a pretty powerful combo to do. But yeah, something you might want to swap out instead of Fire Fist if you're not liking the Fire Fist too much. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. This is my Trafalgar Law list, and it's going to get crazy strong later. So yeah, red, purple Law gang, let's rise up and win these tournaments. Peace.